The story of the Ratonish youth and Kutyanarian shepherds, fear at the water's edge. A youthful adventure.
Frederick Wilson, Thomas Wilson, and Finnian Doherty ventured deep into the forest, beyond the known boundaries of the Albus Scurry, in search of a rare Plymouth Pear tree. Their Scurry had only discovered 2 such trees, and finding another would bring immense wealth and prestige to their families. They had searched the nearby areas thoroughly, and now had to venture much farther away to continue their quest. Crossing a small river that marked the limits of their territory, they pushed forward into unfamiliar land. As they moved cautiously, they heard distant sounds, perhaps sheep. Intrigued, they followed the noise and soon emerged at the forest's edge, where a vast clearing lay before them. In the field, 20 or so sheep grazed peacefully. Finnian's eyes sparkled with mischief. He wanted to lead one home, but the Wilson brothers hesitated. Before they could debate further, they froze in place.
The shepherd's watch.
Among the sheep stood 2 figures unlike any they had ever encountered. The Kutyanarian shepherds, Skrimir and Duradel, towered over the flock. They were tall and lean, their bodies wrapped in tough leather garments, each wielding a long, deadly-looking spear. The young Ratonish had only heard stories of the Kutya from their grandfather, tales that painted them as fierce and relentless hunters. Fear gripped them as they slowly began retreating into the forest. Then, from behind them, a chilling howl erupted, followed by the rapid pounding of feet.
Hunter and hunted.
Panic overtook the boys. They knew instinctively that they were being pursued. Without hesitation, they bolted into the woods, each darting in a different direction, as was their custom when evading predators. They wove through the underbrush, their small, nimble forms making them difficult targets, but the thrashing and crashing sounds behind them signaled that the shepherds were not giving up the chase. Hearts pounding, they pushed toward the river, knowing it was their only hope for escape. Upon reaching the familiar banks, the 3 reunited, gasping for breath. Frederick and Thomas trembled with fear, while Finnian's eyes gleamed with exhilaration. "What should we do?" Thomas panted, glancing over his shoulder.
The next decision.
Frederick wanted to split up again and flee home, but Finnian was eager to watch the shepherds from a safe distance. "I heard they can't swim," he said, his confidence returning. "We'll be safe on this side of the river." Meanwhile, across the water, Skrimir and Duradel debated their next move. Their instincts urged them to continue the chase, though they had never before encountered the Ratonish. They had only read of them in ancient clan texts. Yet their duty to protect their flock was paramount. They decided to extend the hunt a few more moments, both to satisfy their warrior instincts and to sharpen their tracking skills. Finnian watched the scene unfold, his initial excitement giving way to dread as sweat formed on his brow and his hands began to shake. "They split up," he whispered. "One is following my exact path, and the other is tracing Thomas's." "How can they do that?" Thomas stammered, his voice barely audible.
Peril at the river's edge.
Then, to their horror, the Kutyanarian hunters reached the river's edge and stepped into the water. With smooth, practiced strokes, they began to swim across. The Wilson brothers and Master Doherty needed no further proof of their peril. Abandoning all thought of curiosity or defiance, they turned and ran, not stopping until they reached the safety of their settlement. Never again would they stray far beyond the familiar woods, and never again would they underestimate the Kutyanarian hunters.